My name is Moon Petrie and happy first day of Camp Nano, April 2022. It is a not super gorgeous day here in Vermont where April mostly spends its time deciding it is spring and then deciding it is still winter after all. So it is muddy and moist and the sky is very gray around my house. It is about time for me to start making dinner, but I did get some words already today thanks to Margaret Pinard. I was just scrolling through to see who of the AuthorTube channels I am subscribed to had the little red dot of live streaming when I had a chance today, and there she was. So I will put a link to Margaret's channel down below. I'm sure you have probably already found her. She is awesome. I did not reach my goal yet. I wrote 724 words, so getting fairly close because this month my goal is 30K or 1,000 words a day. I'm gonna try to get ahead here and there where I can because of course life happens and there's sometimes a day when you can't write. Last year for camp in April, I was writing my first middle grade contemporary. Had never done that before. I am currently querying that book after multiple rounds of revision and am working on my second middle grade contemporary. So I talked a little bit about that in recent videos, what the plot is like. Although of course I'm pantsing, so I mean, a serious outliner would consider this pantsing. I do have some idea of what is happening. I started at the end of February and I have written 10K before camp started. So with the 30K this month, I should get most of the way through it. As it stands, the 10K got me most of the way to the break into 2. I had a lot of fun last April, not just updating with word counts, but with actual story progress and talking more about the plot of the book than I had with previous projects on AuthorTube. So I'm going to do a little bit of that as well. So my protagonist's name is Harper, and she has a best friend who is pretty toxic. Best friend Sophia made friends with Harper by telling her, I'm going to be your best friend, but you're not my best friend. So that kind of girl. But that was years in the past. And so Harper has had this group of girlfriends, mostly orbiting Sophia and having a group, having people to eat lunch with and have sleepovers with, people to invite to her birthday parties. And Sophia, while, you know, publicly having this other best friend, relies on Harper a lot. And so Harper knows stuff about her and about her vulnerabilities. At lunch one day, Sophia finds a list of cute celebrities in the back of Harper's binder. Harper has never really thought this through. People put all kinds of stuff in their binders, you know, pictures of their favorite celebrities being one of the things. Sophia finds it very interesting enough to shout about to the entire cafeteria that Harper's list of cute celebrities includes not just guys. Harsh words are exchanged. Sophia tells Harper that even with twice the options, no one will ever want to date her because she's so desperate, like a plump little puppy. And Harper, feeling threatened, lashes out about some secrets she knows about Sophia's older sister, who is currently hospitalized with mental illness. She's horrified as soon as it's leaving her mouth. She wishes she could unsay the words. She knows how badly she's crossed a line. But as much as Sophia is hurt, truly, she also loves drama. So she makes as big of a scene as possible. She spreads it around to everybody, and Harper ends up ostracized by virtually everyone at her school. So I've got through that and through the part where she's finally starting to sympathize with and have a little bit of kinship with this other ostracized girl that she had never like personally bullied, but obviously Sophia had, and she's friends with Sophia. So, you know, feeling bad about how she's treated this other girl and seeing her suddenly more as a person, starting to really notice how much of the school gets caught up in gossip and drama and how badly people are willing to lash out, whether it's because of what she said or because of this assumption now that she is queer. And so the people who don't get caught up in that, who, you know, don't give her dirty looks, really stand out to her now. That's where I'm at. Spent some time sort of getting to know her family and sort of like what resources she has ultimately that will help her to get through this. She's getting a little angry, but she's also trying really, really hard not to think about what Sophia said about her, because she never thought it through, this thing about how it's not just guys that she thinks are cute. And she really doesn't want to think about it because there's already so much at stake and so much that is causing her to be on the outs socially. So, did I mention she's in 7th grade? 7th grade, by the way, in case you have forgotten or never went or something, it's brutal. Anyway, I am at about that point where the impact of her actions is being felt, and I'm looking forward to the break into 2, and I'm hoping to get a few hundred more words at some point later. I am freshly showered, as you may have noticed from my glamorous hairdo, and I hope that is going to give me a little energy. My kids are watching Disney Plus. I have dinner to make. I'm going to squeeze in a few hundred words somehow. It is much, much sunnier today here in my backyard, but it's still pretty chilly, thus the coat. A little bit breezy. So, yeah. Spring is slow and reluctant around here. I made it past my 1K goal for last night. I ended up riding 11:37, and although it is only 3 o'clock today, I have already hit my 1K goal. I could probably like try and push and ride a bunch more tonight. I'm not sure that I'm going to, because I want to take the time to think things through. I might take some time to do some research I wasn't really planning on having to do, but suddenly it seems my protagonist has quite a strong interest in Margaret Mead, the anthropologist, and so I might need to dig into that a little bit. So I have gotten past that pivotal point that I think is the break into 2, approximately, when she finds this zine that has been put into her locker, and it is a noticeably queer positive little zine. She doesn't know what a zine is. She thinks it's going to be a mean note. She's been dealing with all kinds of people being awful to her, or whispering about her, and so she assumes it's just going to be unkindness, and then finds that it is this little zine. And so she's looking around trying to see who's watching her as she receives it, and she starts to have a suspicion about who might have made it. So there's that. She's wrong. She's continuing to suffer, especially, you know, the cafeteria situation. Lunchrooms are cruel places in middle school when you have had a falling out with your friends. She's actually going to end up in communication, secret note drop kind of communication with the zine maker, and is going to not know for quite a while who it actually is. So there's a lot of suspicion going around there. I'm trying to weave in some mystery about the the best friend, false best friend's sister that she said terrible things about, and what is actually true about that sister. So that's something the protagonist knows, but the reader doesn't. And then there is starting to be a little bit of mystery about the grandfather, the one who was actually a chef and is the one who taught her to cook. So she's going to start to have some concerns about him, be worried that something is wrong, something's going on that he's not telling her. So yeah, two mysteries that the protagonist is trying to figure out. One mystery that she has the solution to but isn't sharing with the reader yet. And then there's some mystery she doesn't want to look at about her own identity. So she's continuing to try not to think about it while it keeps trying to nudge its way into her consciousness. So that is where I am for now on Saturday, the 2nd of April. And I wrote nothing at all on the 3rd. So that wraps things up pretty quickly. Could I have written? Yes. Although I've reasons why I didn't. Could I have managed a whole 1,000 words? It would have been a huge challenge. But I finished some of the books that I had been reading. I was reading too many books at once. I finished 2 of them. It was The School for Good and Evil and a book called Jane Steele. I think the author is Lindsay Fay. I don't usually read historical fiction, but the tagline, Jane Eyre meets Dexter, or Jane Eyre gets a Dexter twist, that was irresistible. So I am also Moon Petrie over on Goodreads. So if you are interested in seeing what I've been reading or what I think of it, go on over and be my friend there. I am not thrilled so far with my accomplishment for camp, but also not terribly disappointed. I feel like 30K is the kind of goal where I can catch up reasonably if I miss a day here and there. So I'm gonna try and catch up, and until next time, I'm Moon Petrie. I will see you in a few days.